The training deck of the alien war academy echoed with cruel laughter. Rows of tall, scaled beings in dark uniforms sat in the viewing stands, their glowing eyes fixed on the single human cadet at the center. He was thin compared to them, pale under the harsh blue lights, his training armor too large for his shoulders. His name was Jonas Hale, the only Earthborn in the academy, and everyone knew it. They mocked him from the first day. They called him Soft Worlder, Fragile Bones, and Prey. Today was no different. He stood alone in the circle, fists tight at his sides. The alien instructor hissed through a metallic mask and pointed a long claw at him. "Begin," it said. 2 hulking reptilian cadets stepped into the circle. Their scales glimmered. Their teeth flashed. The crowd leaned forward, hungry for humiliation. Jonas stayed still. He had seen this before, 2-on-1, always the same. His heart pounded, but his face was calm. He whispered something to himself. The translator chip in his ear did not catch the words. The first cadet lunged. Jonas dodged, quick and low, moving like water. The second cadet tried to grab him from behind. Jonas rolled, kicked, and slid between their legs. He wasn't stronger, but he was faster. The crowd hissed in surprise. He landed a strike to the first cadet's ribs. It staggered. The second roared, claws out. Jonas ducked, the claws missing his head by a hair. He spun and struck again, not to hurt but to unbalance. The reptilian fell to one knee. The arena grew quiet. "Enough," the instructor said. But Jonas did not move. He stood, breathing hard but steady, eyes sharp as knives. For the first time, the aliens noticed there was no fear in him. Only control. Only patience. The laughter faded to a low murmur. Then the siren went off. It was not part of the exercise. Red lights flashed on the ceiling. The translator chip buzzed with urgent alien words. "Unknown signal, high threat, prepare for scan." The walls of the arena unfolded. A massive scanner arm extended from the ceiling, its lens glowing green. It swept over the cadets, one by one. The aliens froze. This was a security measure used only when a dangerous life form was detected. No one had ever seen it triggered during training. The scanner moved across Jonas. A deep metallic voice boomed from hidden speakers. "Earthborn detected. Combat engagement forbidden. Threat level, red." The room went silent. The reptilian cadets stepped back. The instructor's claws trembled. Even the lens of the scanner seemed to vibrate. "Repeat," the voice said. "Earthborn, do not engage." Jonas blinked. He didn't move. He didn't know this would happen, but he felt something shift inside him. He had been mocked for months, treated as weak. Now every eye in the arena stared at him like he was a weapon. "What does it mean?" one cadet hissed. "Why forbidden?" "Earthborn," another whispered. "Ancient law." The instructor barked into a communicator, but its voice cracked. "Command, confirm protocol." The voice from the scanner boomed again. "Confirmed. All Earthborn are classified under Directive 0. No hostile action permitted." Jonas felt the weight of the words. He didn't know any Directive 0. Earth had no allies, no fleet, no empire. Yet these aliens feared something about his origin. He thought of his grandmother's stories back home, old tales of Earth's hidden wars, of things done in the dark before humanity reached the stars. He had never believed them. The scanner retracted into the ceiling. The siren stopped. The arena lights dimmed to a cold blue. No one moved. The 2 reptilian cadets who had been about to fight him now stared at the floor. Their claws hung limp at their sides. Jonas lifted his head. For the first time, he stood taller than his armor. His voice was quiet but clear. "Are we done here?" No one answered. The instructor lowered its eyes. "Training dismissed." Jonas walked out of the circle. The crowd parted, silent. As he passed, the aliens shifted away, giving him space like he carried fire. He did not smile. He did not speak. Inside, his heart still pounded, but now it pounded with questions. Why were they afraid of him? What had Earth done to earn this fear? And what would happen when they learned he was not the only Earthborn here? In the shadowed halls of the academy, whispers began. Words spread like sparks. Earthborn, Directive 0, do not engage. The phrase moved from mouth to mouth, room to room, until it reached the command deck of the station. There, a dark figure watched the security feed. Its many eyes blinked slowly. It spoke in a voice like rusted metal. So it begins, it said. The humans have returned. Jonas walked alone, his boots echoing on the steel floor. The laughter was gone now. Only silence followed him, heavy and electric. He did not yet know what power slept behind his blood. But soon he would. And when he did, the stars themselves would tremble. The academy corridors were colder than before. Lights flickered along the ceiling as Jonas walked, his mind full of questions. Behind him, whispers moved like shadows. Cadets who once laughed now kept their heads down. They did not dare look at him. His boots echoed against metal floors that stretched for kilometers inside the giant alien station. He felt both alone and watched. 2 security drones floated ahead, blocking his way. Their round bodies glowed with blue light. Thin arms ended in sharp tools. Jonas slowed, unsure what they wanted. The drones spoke in a flat machine voice. Cadet Hale. Come with us. Command wishes to speak. He nodded, though his throat was dry. He followed as the drones floated down a narrow passage. The walls here were older, lined with black plates marked by symbols he did not know. He remembered stories from Earth about places you entered but did not leave. He swallowed and kept walking. The path ended at a round door of silver metal. Symbols on it pulsed faintly like a heartbeat. One drone touched the panel. The door opened with a hiss. Inside was a dark room filled with green light. Screens floated in the air, showing maps of stars, lists of names, and old battle footage. In the center stood a tall alien in a long black coat. Its skin was gray and ridged like stone. 4 eyes watched Jonas at once. You are the Earthborn, it said. Its voice was soft but heavy, like distant thunder. You will tell me who sent you. No one sent me, Jonas answered. His voice shook, but he kept his chin up. I came here because I wanted to be a soldier. I passed your tests. That's all. The alien tilted its head. That cannot be all. Directive 0 exists for a reason. I don't know Directive 0, Jonas said. I don't know why your scanner said that. For a moment, the room was silent except for the hum of the screens. The alien's eyes blinked slowly, one pair then the other. Perhaps you do not know, it said. But your blood remembers. Jonas frowned. My blood. The alien pressed a claw to a console. A hologram of Earth appeared above the table, not as it was now but as it had been centuries ago, ringed with orbiting weapons. The image shifted to show ships, black and sharp, vanishing into deep space. When your kind first walked the stars, the alien said, you did not come in peace. We remember the wars of the silent century. We remember the things your ancestors built and then hid. Jonas stared at the image. He had never seen it in any Earth history file. I've never heard of this. Few have, the alien said. It was decided your species would forget. But the treaties still hold. No empire may attack an Earthborn without cause. We fear what might awaken if we do. Jonas felt a chill. He thought of his grandmother's stories again, ancient weapons, ghosts of ships hidden in black space. He had always thought they were bedtime tales. But now a 4-eyed officer was showing him proof. He clenched his fists to stop them from trembling. What do you want from me? He asked. The alien leaned closer. We want to know if you are a warning or a spark. We want to know if the fire is coming back. Jonas's heart pounded. I'm just a cadet. Not anymore, the alien said. Before Jonas could reply, a loud chime filled the room. One of the floating screens turned red. Alien letters scrolled fast. The alien officer hissed a command. "Show me." The screen changed to an external view of the Academy station. A black object had appeared just beyond the edge of the star system. It did not match any known ship design. It was long, dark, and silent, moving without drive light. The officer's 4 eyes widened. "Impossible," it whispered. "It's one of them." Jonas stepped closer. The shape on the screen made his stomach twist. It looked like the ships in the old hologram, only larger. His translator chip buzzed with strange static as if the object were sending a signal he could almost understand. "Your people," the alien officer said slowly. "They are waking." "I don't know anything about that," Jonas said, but his voice was faint. He could feel something in the back of his mind, an echo, a memory that was not his. Another alarm rang. The station's intercom blared warnings. "Unknown vessel approaching. Shields raised. All cadets to quarters." The officer turned to Jonas. "You cannot go back to your dormitory. They will fear you even more now. They may try to contain you." It hesitated, then lowered its voice. "If that ship is truly Earth's, you are no longer a cadet. You are a key." "A key to what?" Jonas asked. "A key to whatever they locked away," the officer said. "And if you open it, none of us will be safe." The screens flashed brighter. The black ship was closer now, its surface shifting like oil. Small lights flickered along its hull, forming symbols Jonas almost recognized. His hands trembled. He whispered a word without meaning to. The translator chip stayed silent. The alien officer's eyes narrowed. "You spoke its name," it said. "How do you know its name?" "I don't," Jonas whispered. "It just came." The officer straightened. "Then it has already begun." Outside, the unknown vessel turned slowly toward the Academy. Inside, every alien on the station felt a cold fear they had not felt in centuries. And at the center of it all stood Jonas Hale, Earthborn, alone, and no longer laughingstock but something far stranger. The alarm continued to wail across the station, but Jonas did not run. His legs felt heavy, yet his mind raced faster than ever. Outside the reinforced windows, the black ship hung in the void like a shadow that swallowed light. Its hull shimmered, twisting as if alive. Jonas could not look away. The alien officer, still watching him, said, "That is not just a ship. It is a signal, a warning, and a weapon all at once. You must understand, Cadet, your kind built it. And now, it has returned." Jonas shook his head. "I don't even know my kind built anything like that." His voice was sharp, almost desperate. "I'm just a student." The officer's 4 eyes narrowed. "That is why they fear you. The unknown terrifies even the strongest. Directive Zero exists to prevent catastrophe. They are waiting for a reason to strike. And they may mistake you for it." A sudden tremor ran through the station. Warning lights flashed red. From the corner of his eye, Jonas saw alien cadets scattering, muttering in fear. The black ship had moved closer. Its size dwarfed the Academy. Its surface now glowed with strange symbols that pulsed rhythmically. Jonas felt the vibrations in his chest. It was calling out. "Do you hear it?" the officer asked. "Do you feel it?" Jonas's head throbbed. The pulsing lights seemed to sync with something deep inside him. His vision blurred. He felt a memory, not his own, yet familiar. Ships rising from Earth. Commands shouted in a language long dead. A mission to the stars that ended in silence. He stumbled back, gripping a console. "You are waking," the officer said softly. "Your blood remembers what your mind has forgotten. That is why they called the scanner, why Directive Zero exists." Jonas turned toward the officer. "Waking? What do you mean?" "Earthborn," the officer said, "carry something dormant inside them. A signal, a code, a weapon, a key. You do not know it yet, but the black ship knows. It has been waiting for you. Jonas's stomach turned. Waiting for me? Yes, the officer said. And now it has found us. The alarms became deafening. Every screen in the room turned red. Red lines traced paths across star maps, showing trajectories that defied logic. The black ship was not just approaching, it was maneuvering with intent, moving through areas thought impossible for a vessel of its size. Jonas could see the tiny dots of Academy defense ships rushing to intercept it, but they were no match. Within moments, the station shook violently. The officer grabbed Jonas's shoulder. You must get to the command deck. Now. There, you can help us understand it. Or it will destroy everything. Jonas hesitated. Help, understand? I'm just a cadet. I don't know anything. The officer's voice hardened. You are Earthborn. That is enough. Some things do not need learning, they remember. Jonas's pulse raced. He ran alongside the officer through long corridors now trembling under the station's emergency protocols. Alien cadets screamed as systems overloaded. Lights flickered violently. Smoke filled the hallways. The black ship loomed outside every viewport, larger now, impossibly large, black as void, alive as a predator. Finally, they reached the command deck. It was enormous, lined with consoles, holoscreens, and alien officers shouting orders. The room fell silent when Jonas entered. All eyes turned to him. For the first time, he felt the full weight of attention. They had already heard the scanner's warning. Directive 0. Earthborn. Do not engage. The officer led Jonas to a central console. Place your hands here, it instructed. Jonas obeyed, feeling the cold metal against his palms. The console lit up with symbols that pulsed and shifted. He felt something stir inside him. Memories, warnings, instructions he had never learned. Names of ships. Codes. Coordinates. Battles. Strategies. A flood of knowledge that was not his own, yet felt like home. The black ship's lights pulsed in response. Jonas felt a connection he could not explain. It was calling him. Something inside him, a legacy buried for centuries, responded. He shivered, unsure whether fear or power surged through him. The officer whispered, It knows you. It recognizes you. Earthborn. It has been waiting for this moment. Jonas's hands pressed harder on the console. The images of Earth's hidden past filled his mind. He saw fleets of ships, silent as graves, moving across distant star systems. He saw codes that opened doors, weapons that could destroy worlds, and a signal that could awaken long-lost technology. And then he understood. The black ship was not here by accident. It had been searching for him. The alarm changed tone, a deep, vibrating hum that rattled the floor. Outside the windows, the black ship began to move in patterns impossible for ordinary physics. Its surface shimmered, almost transparent in places, revealing strange machinery within. Jonas felt a surge in his chest, like a heartbeat syncing with the ship. The officer said, The council will arrive soon. But until then, it is you who must act. You are the key. The station will obey you, if you can unlock it. Jonas swallowed hard, fear twisting into determination. I don't know how. The officer's eyes narrowed. Then you will learn. Fast. Or the stars will burn. Outside, the black ship's pulsing lights grew brighter. The station shook again. Something ancient and powerful had awakened in Jonas. Something that had slept through centuries of history. And now, it demanded to move, to act, to claim its place in the universe. Jonas took a deep breath. He did not know what he could do. He did not know if he would survive. But one thing was clear. The war hidden in the shadows of space had begun. And humanity, his humanity, was at the center of it. The command deck was chaos. Aliens shouted, consoles flashed, and alarms vibrated in Jonas's chest like drumbeats. Outside, the The black ship had stopped at the edge of the station's orbit, its massive hull twisting as if testing the defenses. Jonas could feel it, an unspoken threat pulsing through the void, through the hull, through him. The officer who had guided him here grabbed his arm. You must connect to the station's control grid. Your blood, your signal, will interface. Only you can open the path. Only you can act. I don't even know what to do. Jonas shouted, fear pressing against his throat. You do, the officer said sharply. You just don't know it yet. Trust it. Trust yourself. Your kind is older than you think. Jonas hesitated. Then, with trembling hands, he pressed onto the console. Instantly, a wave of light pulsed into him. Symbols, sequences, and alien code flowed through his mind. He could feel the station listening to him, feeling him, waiting for him to decide. Outside, the black ship shifted closer. Small probes shot out from its hull, scanning the station. Each one was faster than any fighter Jonas had ever seen. The alien cadets froze, some screaming, some diving for cover. Jonas's mind raced. The station's automated weapons powered up, but they moved sluggishly compared to the black ship's probes. Every second counted. The officer's voice was steady. The probes are testing you. They know you are Earthborn. They are measuring your reaction. Do not fear. Jonas closed his eyes. He took a deep breath. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a spark. A memory, or maybe instinct, rose inside him. He remembered the patterns from Earth's hidden fleet. Shapes. Sequences. Orders. He didn't understand why he knew them, but he did. His hands moved over the console as if guided by an invisible hand. Outside, the probes froze mid-air. Lights on the black ship pulsed faster. A low hum filled the deck, vibrating Jonas's chest. Then, without warning, a wave of energy shot from the station. It struck the black ship. The probes scattered. The hull shimmered, then seemed to retreat slightly. The alien officers gasped. It worked, one whispered. He is controlling it. Jonas opened his eyes. The console glowed under his hands. He could feel the ship responding, bending its movements to his mind, testing his thoughts. Fear and adrenaline raced through him, but there was also a strange calm. He realized he could reach it. Not with weapons, not with fire, but with something else. Something built into his blood, his mind, his legacy. The black ship pulsed again, a warning this time. Jonas sensed a question, almost a voice. Who commands? He swallowed hard. He didn't know how to answer, but instinct guided him. He thought, I do. The response was immediate. The ship shifted its massive hull and stopped. Its lights dimmed to a soft glow. Jonas felt the connection pulse, steady now, waiting. The station's alarms quieted slightly as the tension hung in the air. Every alien officer watched him with wide eyes. The cadets who had mocked him were silent, staring at someone who had just become more than a cadet. The officer leaned closer. You did that. You controlled it. Earthborn, you are more than we imagined. But this is only the beginning. That ship is ancient. It has waited for you. And it is patient, but relentless. Jonas looked at the black ship. Fear still lingered, but beneath it, determination sparked. Then I'll be ready, he said quietly. His hands left the console, but the connection remained, faint yet unbroken. The black ship seemed to acknowledge him, a silent promise or threat he could not read. Suddenly, a voice boomed through the command deck, not from the station, but from the black ship itself. It was deep, distorted, almost mechanical, yet human. Earthborn, come forth. Your kind awakens. Jonas froze. Every cadet and officer in the room felt the words like a cold wind. The alien officer whispered, It speaks, but in what language? Only you can answer it. Jonas's pulse quickened. He stepped forward, uncertain, yet compelled. I am here, he said, voice shaking. yet steady enough to be heard. "I am Earthborn." The ship shivered in response, a ripple across its hull. Then a part of it opened, like a mouth of black metal. Light spilled from inside, revealing corridors, machinery, and symbols he instinctively understood. Jonas's chest tightened. This was no ordinary ship. It was a vessel of Earth's forgotten legacy, alive in a way he could feel. The officer's eyes were wide. "He is calling you into it. Jonas, this is beyond training. If you enter, you will face what no Earthborn has faced for centuries. You will see the truth of your people. You may not return unchanged." Jonas looked back at the alien officers, then at the trembling cadets, then at the ship. His hands clenched into fists. "I have to go," he said. "I need to know. I need to see what's waiting." A low hum resonated through the command deck. The ship pulsed faster. The connection tightened. The energy from the console felt like it was guiding him, urging him forward. Every fiber of his being told him that once he stepped inside, nothing would be the same. The alien officer nodded slowly. "Then go, Earthborn. Face your past. Face your legacy. Face them. And survive." Jonas took a deep breath, stepped to the edge of the command deck, and looked out at the black ship's open entrance. The void beyond glimmered with stars, but all he could see was the ship, calling him. His heart hammered. His mind raced. And in that moment, he became more than a cadet. He became the first human to step into a legacy older than the stars themselves. And as he entered, the station shuddered. Outside, the black ship pulsed one last time, a signal into the deep, dark space that would awaken forces Jonas had only begun to imagine. Jonas stepped into the black ship. The doorway closed behind him with a low hiss, and the air inside smelled metallic, sharp, and alive. The corridors stretched endlessly, lit by faint pulses of white and blue light. Symbols moved along the walls as if they were alive, shifting patterns he instinctively understood. His chest tightened. This was no ordinary ship. It was a living memory of Earth, hidden away for centuries. He moved cautiously, boots echoing against smooth metal. Every step felt like stepping into history itself. Voices whispered in the shadows, not human, not alien, but something in between. He sensed presence, but nothing appeared. The ship was testing him, probing him, responding to his thoughts. His hands brushed the walls, and the symbols glowed brighter. He realized he was not just walking through the corridors, he was connecting with the ship, communicating silently. Then a chamber opened before him. It was vast, bigger than the station he had trained on. Floating platforms hovered in the air, and in the center lay a holographic map of the stars, Earth's stars, marked with unknown coordinates. Ships of all sizes moved along paths he felt in his mind. Fleets that had vanished centuries ago. Weapons that had been hidden from history. And at the heart of it, a single glowing orb pulsed, as if alive. Jonas stepped closer. He instinctively reached out, and the orb reacted, pulsing faster. Images filled his mind, battles he had never seen, commands he had never learned, ships jumping across light years in impossible maneuvers. It was Earth's lost fleet, waiting for its return. His pulse raced. He felt the weight of his ancestors' choices and the power they had hidden. A deep voice echoed in the chamber. "Earthborn." Jonas froze. The voice was not mechanical. It was old, wise, filled with anger and hope at the same time. Who are you?" he whispered. "I am the sentinel of the fleet," the voice said. "I have waited for you. You carry the key of Earth. You awaken what has slept for centuries. But beware, there are those who will not let it rise again." Jonas's mind spun. "What do you mean?" "Enemies," the voice said. "Enemies who fear your kind. Those who will try to destroy you before you can restore what was lost. The black ship is only the first. The universe has long forgotten humanity, but not all have forgiven it. And some never will." A sudden vibration shook the chamber. The ship's walls flickered as red lights flashed outside the room. Probes, like the ones Jonas had seen at the station, had followed him. They scanned the ship, searching for him. Jonas realized they were tracking him inside this ancient vessel. He stepped back from the orb, unsure what to do. The voice spoke again, calmer now. Earthborn, you must claim command. The fleet awaits your signal. You must awaken the defenses before the enemies arrive. Your mind carries the code. Trust it. Jonas hesitated. Could he really control a fleet that had vanished centuries ago? Could he awaken weapons hidden for generations? The power felt like fire inside him, dangerous and consuming. But fear was not enough to stop him. He placed his hands on the orb. Light surged into him, connecting him to the ship, the fleet, and the lost technology of Earth. Memories and commands flowed, filling his mind with knowledge he had never studied. He could feel the ships answering, engines humming across the stars, weapons charging, communication channels opening. It was overwhelming, but he did not resist. He focused on the pulse, the rhythm of the fleet awakening, the heartbeat of his ancestors. Then, a projection appeared before him, an image of a fleet approaching. Dark ships, unlike anything he had seen, moved with deadly precision. They were not alien allies. They were hunters. They knew Earthborn had returned. The voice said softly, "This is the first wave. If you hesitate, humanity will remain lost. You must strike first, Earthborn, or all is lost." Jonas's hands tightened on the orb. His mind raced, but clarity broke through the fear. He could do this. He must do this. With a thought, he sent a signal through the fleet. The ships outside the black ship responded, engines roaring to life, weapons aligning, shields powering up. Red lights on the approaching enemy fleet reflected in the walls of the chamber. The first battle of Earth's forgotten war was about to begin. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. The enemy fleet fired. Jonas felt the impact through the hull, as though the ship itself had been hit. Sparks flew across the chamber. Symbols flickered. But the orb pulsed faster, stronger, as if feeding off the danger. Jonas realized that the ship and the fleet would follow his commands, but only if he stayed focused, only if he believed in his connection to the Earthborn legacy. He took a deep breath and whispered, "I am Earthborn. I command the fleet." Outside, the black ship shone brightly. The fleet moved as one under Jonas's command, ready to face the hunters that had come to end humanity before it could rise again. For the first time in centuries, Earth's legacy was awake, and its heart beat in a young cadet standing alone in the darkness, facing enemies that had thought humans were extinct. The black ship trembled as the enemy fleet closed in. Jonas stood in the control chamber, hands pressed to the glowing orb, feeling the pulse of Earth's hidden fleet through every fiber of his being. Red lights flashed across the hull as warnings screamed in alien tongues, but Jonas ignored them. His mind was not on the alarms, it was on the fleet. It was his now, and he could feel its power thrumming like a living thing. Outside, dark shapes streaked across the stars. Hunters, ships built for one purpose, to erase anything that resembled Earth's lost fleets. Jonas's pulse quickened, but he did not panic. He had trained for this moment in ways he did not understand. He could sense their movements before they happened, anticipate attacks before they came. The orb's energy flowed into him, guiding his hands, his thoughts, his instincts. The first wave of enemy fighters struck. They fired plasma bolts, streaking like blue comets across the void. Jonas felt the hull shudder. Alarms screamed. But with a thought, he redirected the ship's defenses. Shields flared along the black ship's edges, absorbing the first impact. Weapon systems activated, releasing silent beams that cut through space, slicing the enemy ships with precise efficiency. The alien officer who had brought him here watched in awe. "Incredible," it whispered. "He moves like a general born of legend. Earthborn, truly unstoppable when awake." Jonas focused. His mind was a map of the battlefield. He could feel every ship in the fleet, their speed, their angle, their firing capabilities. With a thought, he sent one group of ships into a sweeping arc, flanking the enemy. Another group jumped to light speed, striking from behind. The enemy ships reeled, surprised. They had expected a single human cadet, fragile, weak, like the others they had mocked. Instead, they faced a force older than time, commanded by a mind they could not anticipate. The black ship pulsed with energy. Jonas felt it moving with him, responding to his thoughts as if it shared his body. The enemy fleet adjusted, trying to overwhelm him. Jonas's hands moved over the orb faster, issuing commands without words. Energy beams struck, shields shimmered, and the enemy's first wave began to fracture. Suddenly, one of the enemy capital ships fired a massive blast. The black ship rocked violently. The chamber's lights flickered, and sparks rained from overhead panels. Jonas gritted his teeth. The orb flared in response, and through sheer force of will, he directed the black ship to absorb the blast. The energy coursed through the hull, then back out into space, tearing through the enemy ship's shields. Jonas's confidence grew. His fear became focus. Every move was precise, every decision instant. The alien officer's eyes widened as he watched the cadet single-handedly orchestrate an entire fleet. "It is not just skill," the officer muttered. "It is instinct. Earthborn instinct." Another wave of enemy fighters approached, faster, more aggressive. Jonas did not falter. He sent the Earthborn fleet in a sweeping maneuver, trapping the attackers in a deadly formation. Light beams cut through the void, tearing the enemy ships apart. Some tried to flee, but Jonas anticipated their escape routes. The black ship pulsed, extending energy tendrils into the fleet, controlling their paths like a conductor guiding an orchestra. The battle was relentless. The station trembled with each strike. Jonas's mind began to ache from the constant connection to hundreds of ships, the flood of commands, and the pulsing energy of the black ship. But he did not stop. Every thought, every instinct, every heartbeat was focused on one thing: surviving this first encounter and proving that humanity, though long forgotten, had returned stronger than ever. Suddenly, a shadow crossed the stars. A massive enemy battleship appeared, larger than any Jonas had seen. Its hull was jagged and black, almost like the void had shaped it. It unleashed a wave of energy that swept across the fleet. Several Earthborn ships were hit. Alarms blared louder than ever. Jonas felt panic rise, but he did not succumb. He drew the pulse of the black ship into himself, channeling it, feeling its power surge into his veins. With a thought, he unleashed a counterwave. Energy rippled from the black ship, striking the massive enemy vessel. It shook, sparks flying along its hull. Jonas felt the ship respond, bending the enemy's attack, redirecting its energy back toward the attackers. The enemy battleship groaned under the force. Jonas focused harder. He could sense its weak points, its energy flow, its vulnerabilities. With precision, he targeted them. The enemy ship fractured, pieces spinning into the void like shattered comets. The remaining enemy fighters retreated, dark shapes fading into the distance. The black ship pulsed once, then returned to its quiet rhythm. The battle was over, for now. Jonas exhaled, hands trembling, chest pounding. He had survived. The fleet responded to him, alive and ready, waiting for his command. The alien officer approached, awe and fear in its eyes. "Earthborn, you have done the impossible. You have awakened the fleet and repelled the first hunters. You are more than any of us imagined." Jonas turned toward the viewport. Stars stretched endlessly before him, silent witnesses to the fight. The enemy had fled, but he knew this was only the beginning. Somewhere out there, more ships waited, more enemies who feared Earth's legacy. And he was the key. He clenched his fists. "Let them come," he whispered. "They will see what humanity can do." And in the black ship, connected to the pulse of a forgotten fleet, Jonas Hale, Earthborn, felt the power of his ancestors awaken fully. The war that had slept for centuries had begun, and he was ready to lead it. The black ship glided through the void, quiet now, but tense, like a predator waiting for its prey. Jonas stood at the control chamber, hands on the glowing orb, heart pounding, mind racing. The fleet he had awakened hovered around the station, ready, silent, a legacy of Earth that had slept for centuries, and now stirred under his command. The enemy fleet was gone, for now. But Jonas knew they would return. Stronger, faster, more cunning. Somewhere in the darkness, they were regrouping. Somewhere they were plotting. And he was the spark that had awakened the storm. A deep vibration ran through the black ship. The orb pulsed, and with it, Jonas felt the ship's thoughts, memories, and power intertwine with his own. Symbols along the walls shifted rapidly, showing images he had never seen, maps of star systems, fleets, and weapons hidden in the far reaches of space. The ship itself seemed to breathe with ancient intelligence. Then the voice came again. Earthborn, the key has been used. But there is more to awaken. The ultimate weapon waits for you. Jonas's stomach twisted. Weapon? What weapon? The one your ancestors left for the final war, the voice said. It is not just a fleet. It is not just firepower. It is a judgment. A choice. It will determine whether humanity rises again or is extinguished before the stars. A sudden alarm blared. The ship's sensors had detected a massive energy signature approaching. Jonas's chest tightened. He peered out the viewport. The enemy had returned, not a fleet, but a singular, massive entity. It was black, jagged, and enormous. Energy flares danced across its hull, pulsing with destructive intent. The pulse was unlike anything Jonas had felt before. It was alive. It was a weapon designed to destroy entire civilizations. The alien officer appeared beside him, eyes wide. That is the ultimate threat. It was thought destroyed centuries ago. Jonas, you must act. Now. Jonas swallowed, hands trembling. He glanced at the orb. He could feel the black ship responding, but the enemy entity was immense, powerful beyond measure. One wrong thought, one hesitation, and everything, the fleet, the station, the stars nearby, could be annihilated. He took a deep breath. I am Earthborn. I am the key. The thought pulsed through him, steadying his mind. With a surge of courage, he connected fully with the black ship. The orb glowed brilliantly, sending a wave of energy throughout the fleet. Every ship responded instantly. They moved as one, a single consciousness guided by Jonas's instincts and the pulse of his ancestors. The enemy entity struck first. Beams of energy lashed out, tearing through space. Jonas's connection with the fleet allowed him to anticipate each strike, redirecting shields, countering attacks, and moving ships in patterns that seemed impossible. Yet the entity was relentless, faster and stronger than anything he had faced. Each blow shook the black ship, rattled the stations, and threatened to overwhelm him. Jonas closed his eyes. He felt the orb, felt the ship, and reached into the memories embedded in his blood. Ships of Earth, weapons, strategies, and codes he had never learned consciously came to him. He realized the weapon the voice had spoken of was not outside. It was inside him. A force built into every Earthborn, a power to awaken when the galaxy demanded it. He focused. He let the pulse flow through him, letting instinct and legacy guide his hands and mind. The black ship pulsed in response, extending energy tendrils outward, weaving around the enemy entity like a living net. Jonas visualized the entity's weak points, anticipating its moves before it even acted. The fleet followed his commands perfectly, a symphony of destruction and precision. A final surge. Jonas poured every ounce of energy into the orb. The black ship released a massive wave of force. It wrapped around the enemy entity, immobilizing it, crushing its energy output. Sparks of light exploded across the void. The entity groaned, twisted, then shattered, fragments scattering into the stars like black meteors. Silence followed. The fleet hovered, awaiting further command, but Jonas felt relief wash over him. The threat was gone. Humanity's hidden power had been proven, feared, and respected. The alien officer placed a clawed hand on Jonas's shoulder. Earthborn, you have done what none of us expected. You have awakened the legacy, commanded the fleet, and destroyed the ultimate threat. Humanity is alive. Jonas looked out at the stars, the black ship quiet, the fleet still glowing faintly. He felt the weight of what he had done, and the possibilities that lay ahead. The stars themselves seemed to shimmer with a new light. Humanity, long forgotten in the dark corners of the galaxy, had returned. And it was no longer prey, it was a force to be reckoned with. He turned to the alien officer. This is only the beginning, isn't it? The officer's eyes gleamed. Yes, Earthborn. The stars have been shaken. Many will come, some to challenge you, some to join you. But one thing is certain, the galaxy now knows humanity cannot be ignored. Jonas took a deep breath. He felt the pulse of the black ship in his veins, the knowledge of his ancestors in his mind, and the strength of his blood in his heart. He had been mocked, feared, and underestimated. Now, he stood at the center of a legacy older than the stars themselves. And somewhere in the darkness of space, other eyes watched, other fleets stirred, and the galaxy trembled. Jonas Hale, Earthborn, smiled faintly. He was ready. Humanity had returned, and the stars themselves would never be the same. The black ship pulsed once more, a heartbeat echoing across the void. The war had begun, and Jonas was the first spark.